Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Alright, just getting this thing started here. I'm gonna get this thing going. Dozer, hey man, you were just the fella I was hoping would get to see this. I know I sent the message in the Discord, but then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just set this up and film it just in case, you weren't gonna be around and had to catch it on the flip side. But because I'm gonna have to start. Oh, you're driving. Okay, well, drive safe, brother. You know, that's something I've always wanted to do, is visit Australia and see the vastness of it and drive around. So in the meantime, I sort of settle for shows produced in Australia. One of my favorite actually was Australian Survivor. I particularly liked the one where they did Survivor in the Outback. I thought that was cool. Yeah, just working on some pedal stuff. Yeah, you're listening. Cool. I'm gonna just wait for some folks to come in. Oh, I just saw Surge. Man, I love seeing those blue loop pedals. That's cool. Representing the memberships. That's awesome. All right, I'm setting up all my screens so I can see everything. This is pretty cool. Randy Hemp, welcome in. Coming right out of the gate with a request. Play the Life Force. I have no idea what that is. I'm not too keen on this weird, crazy thing switching here, but I might just have to deal with it. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know what that is. What is the Life Force? Tell me about it. I'm just doing a little intro music until I can get to my pedals. What's up, Painful? Yvonne and Aloe Deep Chakraborty. Aloe Deep Chakraborty. Can I play the intro to Game of Thrones? Actually, I kind of can. Have you seen me do that on one of these streams? Or is that just randomly out of the gate? Look up Life Force. I'm gonna love it. Cool name. Is that the band or the song? It sounds like it would be an instrumental. Synthesizer definitely changes things. So yeah, this stream's gonna be all about my pedals. Even though I'm not using many pedals yet. Yeah, hey Dozer, the band sound system is good. I know all about it. I love listening to stuff in my Ford Escape. It has a great sound system stock. I know it sounds weird to say, but way better than most vehicles. So funny. I'm just sort of improvising for some intro music, and that's really sounding like that rah Rasputin thing to me. All right, I'm getting there. I think we got enough people here to just sort of get into the pedals and what the heck I'm doing. Note in there. Oh, you started. Man, you're always working on your music room, aren't you? You're constantly doing that, Dozer. Stream. Hey, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm not big on this spinny thing here. Let me know if it's annoying you guys. But yes, I am going to be featuring this Kingsley pedal right here. It's going to be a big part of what I'm doing today. So I really want to showcase what these preamp pedals can do. Life Force by R.G. Payson. You might regret it if you say you don't know this song. Man, that's some tall praise for a song. So, I'm down. I'm gonna add a bass track to this and get to the looping part. demonstrate some cool things you can do that are pretty short. All right, looks like we got 47 people. That's about where it's been maxing out lately, so I think I'm ready to get into this. Alrighty. Well, welcome in, everybody. That was my silly take on something approximating like rah-rah Rasputin. I don't know. I didn't intend for it to do that. It's just sort of where it ended up. But welcome to the stream. Today I wanted to feature my guitar pedals. In particularly, I would like to share my obsession with preamp pedals. So preamp pedals are basically sounds, particularly for guitars, but preamps are very important in recording music in recording studios. Sometimes the main focus in recording studios are the preamps. That's what you pay for. A lot of times is the preamps and the microphones that go into the preamps, of course, in the knowledge of the engineer. But for me, my history is I kind of learned a lot in recording studios because I was in a band that had a pretty good amount of, I guess, sponsorship or money behind us, and they put us in the best studios with, you know, the best engineers, people with even a billion records under their name and stuff like that. And basically, my whole thing, I was the young guy in the band, and I chose to sit next to these engineers the entire time and listen to them instead of party in the back and drink and do all the crap that they're doing, eating the food, talking to people on the phone, all that. I sat next to these people and learned as much as I could. Basically, everything is about the preamps in these recording studios. Now, this is an old school approach, of course, you know, like, but it's even definitely a thing now. With all the modern technology and all the stuff available to make records without big recording studios, preamps are still vitally important. So, that being said, me as a guitar player, I never got into recording on my own in a studio too much. I did run a couple studios and produced albums for people and myself. I have a lot, actually. I just don't put them out anymore since the whole Spotify thing and ripping off artists, yada yada. But in these recording studios, I decided to try my best to emulate what I learned in these big, ridiculously expensive studios. And once again, it's all about the preamps. And I couldn't afford to buy these racks of preamps that they have in recording studios because basically in a console, a mixing console that they record everything through and mix it, basically to have these standard preamps that you would use is basically about $3,000 per channel strip. And a standard would be like a Neve channel strip. And they have a particular sound, and when you hear it individually in the studio run through these preamps and you hear it come back through the speakers, it doesn't necessarily sound like super good. That's the thing that struck me. It just sounds like it takes a voice of an instrument, like something like a guitar, you know, and it might sound really full, and then you run it through these preamps, and it sort of refines the essence of the guitar, and it might sound like it has more sizzle than what is natural. But what I realized is every single channel was sort of carved out by these preamps and these EQs to the most, if I was to generalize, in the most essence to bring out the very essence of each instrument and each thing that was being recorded. And it sounded slightly exaggerated when you would solo, which means only listen to that channel. So that was sort of like enlightening to me. And I mean, I listened to this for hours and hours, countless hours, over and over, all kinds of instruments, all kinds of tracks, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the sound of these really good preamps. They just sort of, they take certain frequency ranges and really do a thing with them that's just, it's kind of hard to describe. But they don't sound great on their own, I would say. They sound fine and they sound good. It's just when you combine them in a mix and then you start adding many, many of these tracks together and you have refined little frequency spectrums that are pulsing and undulating in really good ways, you get a great mix. I mean, it's undeniable. Everybody paid for this. Everybody who made successful records, it's just the formula. It's just the way it's done. And so that's why I just paid attention to that. That's sort of what I learned. Years later, I struck out in other bands that didn't have as much money. I did my best to emulate it, yada, yada, yada. And then one time I was visiting a friend in Vancouver, British Columbia on some off time, and he had a barbecue. And his neighbor, he invited his neighbor over. He's like, you got to meet my neighbor. He's super cool. He builds guitar amplifiers. He builds pedals, and he's an amazing guitar player. And he brought Simon Jarrett over, who's the main guy of Kingsley. So I met him there, and we're playing. We're having a barbecue. We're trading guitar licks. I'm showing him my custom guitars, all this cool stuff, and we're playing. And my friend, he had this amplifier. He had an actual amplifier built by Kingsley, of course, which these things are serious unobtainium. But man, did it ever sound good. And he had a couple of pedals, and he let me try some of these pedals because I was actually using my laptop to record some guitar tracks for my band's album at the time. And oh my God, I mean, I plugged in these pedals through this amplifier, just stuck a microphone on it, and oh my God. Basically, that was sort of the sound that I was like, man, that's what's missing. So what these pedals did for guitar in particular for me is they brought just a fantastic preamplifier, that carving and basically using the best of the guitar spectrum. These pedals did that much like those consoles did in recording studios, but for guitar. So basically, you run your guitar into one of these. Let me see if I can go into this. Okay. Basically, so here's my guitar chain. Basically, it comes in through my tuner, and I have just a clon, which is just a regular distortion, going into a Kingsley right here. This is a custom-made Kingsley. So this is basically a crunchy drive, and this is like a clean drive. Goes through some other effects, and then I go in through another Kingsley, and this one really emulates an amplifier. This is a Kingsley Maiden. This one right here is a Kingsley Maiden. Yeah, it's kind of emulating an amplifier in the sense that it's that preamp slash emulating a little bit of the power amp sound as well. That's what he builds these particular pedals for, is definitely like an amp replacement pedal. And when I mentioned that these things are tube pedals and they are like point-to-point wire versions of real amplifiers, like he does a Marshall version. This one's a Dumble clone. I don't know if you've ever heard of Dumble amplifiers. And the legendary circuits. So the difference between his pedals, which are legit preamp pedals, and like most all other pedals you're gonna get, I'll show you right here because I have one. This is an old one that's been really destroyed through the years, and I gotta get it fixed. But here's what the inside looks like. Let me see if I get a better shot of this. All right, so yeah, I mean, look at that. This is basically the same circuitry you're going to find in a tube amplifier, the preamp section. Okay, so this is all point-to-point, high-quality stuff wired by a master who builds, iconic amplifiers. So that's what you're getting in one of these. It's not circuit boards. It's actual analog components all the way. And these things run at 12 and 18 volt, which basically means you get double to triple the headroom on your guitar of a regular guitar pedal. So I got two of these. You know, this is two. This custom pedal here is 2 pages. So a page is a very common distortion, or it's not distortion, it's overdrive that he makes. And I got 2 different voiced pages in one housing going into this Dumble sort of preamp section. It's all preamps, but basically I'm chaining tube circuits all together. Yeah, these pedals I find are just they're really amazing pedals. As far as how they shape your guitar sound, it's just super drastic. So I was gonna try and show some stuff here. So right now the Maiden is on. This is off, okay? This is just a guitar running through the pedals, and I do have a buffer. So this is a Gibson SG. And that's typically what straight into a PA is going to sound like without some preamps. Right here, I can use this clone, so I'll show you the difference. So I'll just turn on the clone, this is just a cheap clone of a overdrive that's really popular. When pedals and guitars are just sort of direct, they sound really weird without cabinet emulation, which is really popular, and or amp simulation, the whole thing. This is just, a circuit adding some overdrive. And it's not tube overdrive, and it's not all point to point. The buffer in my situation, Dozer, is this wireless Boss unit that I have, the WL. Basically, any active pedal in the very beginning can act like a buffer. And I got this tuning pedal, but these definitely work as great buffers. Okay, so there's what a guitar sounds like without, these 2 preamp sections. And they sort of have like a darkness to them. They don't have a lot of definition. But it sounds good. I would definitely appreciate having one of these if I didn't have the Kingsleys. So now if I go to the Kingsleys, I'll just turn on the basic amp emulation. I don't know if you guys can tell, but everything is super controlled and clean as soon as I turn this on. It's, I don't know if you can tell how controlled that is, but that's just the basics. So that's just running it through this, okay? And I'm going to get into what these, hold on, let me do a close-up since we're talking about this. So we got treble, middle, bass. Then we got an EQ lift knob, volume and master, of course, and you can exaggerate these in different formulas and get different sounds. I can crank the master and leave the volume down. That already, without any cabinet emulation, that is sounding like an amp mic'd up through a professional, like a serious expensive console in a recording studio. I mean, that's what my ears hear, and I'm pretty sure that's part of what he's doing to achieve this, or that's his intent, I'm imagining, because that's just the sound. That was arms wide open, yeah. So yeah, it sounds nice with the master sort of cranked, so we can do this inverse, leave the master down and the volume down, and you'll sort of drive it a little bit more. Gets a little darker on this circuit. More mellow. But these analog circuits, that's kind of how they play. They play in all sorts of cool ways. You mess around with them. Then I have this bright switch on here, which is super interesting. Now I was boosting that a lot. I don't want to boost it more than my usual gain structure. But here we go. I'll boost it a little bit just so we can really hear what this part is doing. Because I turn on other preamps that go into this, and because of the voltage and the nature of tube preamps, like the volume jumps are insane. So you get a ton of headroom, which is a good thing. Just the thing when you have a ton of headroom is responsibly using it. So anyways, so there's this bright switch. So check this out. I like it in the middle, but all the way up really gives you a treble boost. My fingers are so out of practice. I'm going to strum so we can hear it a little bit. I'll turn it down so it's not as bright. So it's exaggerating different frequencies. Now it sounds subtle, right? Unless you have a good sound system, you're not going to hear that. But that's sort of the point, is subtle adjustments through preamp chains make massive differences by the time you get to the end. And that's sort of what you want, is a little bit subtle, because every little knob you change is going to vastly change your sound. And when you get into stacking these, which I'm going to show you in a few minutes here, crazy the different sounds you get. And when you get into looping and layering guitars, either in a studio or on a looping pedal, the variance in frequencies and responses you get in your different options here, especially between these two pedals or any sort of preamp chain, you really widen your spatial availability of the mix. So anyways, this is the Kingsley Maiden, really cool. Now, I'm a little unresponsible. I'm not controlled that much. I love using this EQ lift, which is basically a boost, okay? So imagine, just gonna play this. So that sort of gives you a boost, okay? I'm gonna turn on this delay for now. This is a nice little echo I got. I'm going to play that Pink Floyd Brick in the Wall riff. So there, I just turned the boost off. It's a nice boost, right? So one thing I learned later in my basically production life was that some really high quality amps and circuits, they well here's the thing. So an EQ lift is actually lifting all these controls out of the circuit and giving you raw, pure tone. So how this works, how an EQ works in a lot of these high old school amplifiers and preamps, is EQs are actually reductive. So the concept is the sound flows through this pedal, and these EQs are restrictive. So the natural version of the circuit is, this is not a boost. This is how the tone flows, and these restrict the frequencies. Okay, so you're going to get more volume when you boost all three of these. But really, that's not a boost. That's just the nature of the signal flowing through this. And what the EQ lift does is it takes, this is basically like a blend, letting you, basically trying to go to this full out EQ. Now, I did hear a boost here because the way that he has this wired up, this switch, it affects this differently. I have to read the manual. Okay, so yeah, on this top switch, now I don't fully understand this, just so you know, this is a warning. Now you see how when this is engaged or disengaged, it's not doing anything? Nothing with this particular switch all the way up. That's because disengaged, it's doing the exact same thing as with the EQ lift. Now, I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's just how a lot of really good amplifiers function, because you get the purest, most raw tone. Anyways, I run everything at 12 o'clock, right? And And you can sort of carve out your bass, your mid, your treble, whatever you kind of generally like. You get yourself used to this. And you can use the EQ lift, and this is a blend knob, where you can start to bring in the sound of completely passing through the circuit without the EQ. This basically takes the EQ out, emulating jacking it up like this. I like it in this middle position. It's just what I've sort of settled on, because it acts like a boost. Okay, so it's just such a nice sound. So we came from this. If we just go through without the pedals, and we try and get this, and if we try and get the same volume from, like, let's say this, cheap distortion pedal. Can you guys hear the difference? I mean, it still sounds good. It's just missing this ultra clarity, which is a good sound in its own right. My point is, I like to have variety. So the Kingsleys, they're subtle, or they can be extremely exaggerated. The point is, you get about 3 times the headroom these have. If I turn the Kingsley all the way up, I mean, I am distorting the living crap out of my mixer right there. That is a ton of volume, okay? If I was to just turn on the Klon over here, it's got a lot, but it didn't flatten out nowhere near like this one did. So, these got a ton of power, these Kingsleys. Anyways, getting back to stacking them, that takes me back to this thing here. This is basically a crunchy drive and a more mellow drive. So I'm going to turn on this baseline Kingsley. That's like having my amplifier on. And then this is sort of a brighter, cleaner crunch. It still sounds like clean tone. It's just really articulate, and to my ears, that's what it sounds like when you mic up amplifiers, good amplifiers, in a recording studio through one of those really expensive consoles. And getting back to my whole point, like these preamps, it's like having a little bit of that recording studio or high-end recording studio quality right on your pedal board. Here's the crunchy one. I sort of have it maxed out. It's a bit extreme. Yeah, these are nice and warm. And then you get into stacking them. So I just want you guys to mentally take a note of what this one sounds like, okay? And they really respond well to you playing soft or aggressively. So see, as I go quieter and quieter, how nice it just stays in the mix. That response there is worth all the money in the world to me. Anyways, so there's that one. I'll demonstrate the same thing with this. So even though they sound similar, that subtle difference in the way that it does the difference stacks so well and just makes beautiful recordings. That's why I'm obsessed with natural, like, good tube preamps. Then the crazy thing is when you get into stacking these, how different the sounds get. So here we are. I'm always going to leave this one on, which is the standard on of the Maiden. Let's turn the boost on. Check this out. just sounds so satisfying to me. I'm going to blow this up a little bit here. Oops. 1 second. I got to adjust my camera. Thank you for the subscribe, Chai. Appreciate that. Oh, boy. It's really hard to adjust this. Okay, let's see. Come on. All right, here we go. I just want to zoom in on these Kingsleys a little more. Okay. There we go. So, that is a nice sound. I mean, let me tell you. There's no cabinet emulation on that. That is just pure tube preamps hitting a mixer. Just a mixer into powered speakers. And to my ears, I'll just reiterate, that's what it sounds like when you're in a control room of a really good studio going through like Neve preamps. That is the sound right there. And so let's stack just these two now. So I took the boost off. I'm going to turn on the other page. It's going to be a little bit thinner, a little bit crunchier, and more direct. Gosh, I need to practice. And my nails are a little long. Don't worry, Randy. I'm going to look up Life Force. Add some effects to that. Can get really pretty and nice. And you see how the sound just sort of blooms? That is the Kingsley sound right there. It's just a beautiful thing. All right, so that's with these two. Interesting thing happens when you run a different like kind of preamp into these first. This makes that scooped metal sound, the straight up distortion into the crunchy channel. I'm trying to get my guitar in the shot. It's hard. So that's pretty wild. So let's just, to compare, here's a classic distortion. This is a clone on its own. But it's not really on its own because it is still running through a Kingsley. All right, take the Kingsley off. Just the regular preamp. Instantly way more musical. Looks like I'm maxing out the output section. I got to be careful here. I'm being irresponsible, guys. Okay. Once again, these two sounds really cool. If I do it, the clone with the other crunch. It kind of gives you that Slayer sound. Yeah, really nice. And then one of my favorites is all three. So 1, 2, and the boost. Oh my gosh, look out. super loud, but it's still clean. But on that major breakup, yeah, it turns into fuzz. Like, do some Led Zeppelin. Sort of a nice sound, huh? So yeah, that's with all three. That's definitely a lead boost. At most times, I just try to choose. I'm a sucker, and what I was saying is I'm irresponsible. I like leaving this boost on so often because I really like the way that sounds. But I mean, I like all these sounds. And what I was trying to show you real quick is just the different flavors you get by combining all these, okay? Just listen to the different characters of the guitar. That's just these two. With the overdrive. Crunchy. They all sound vastly different. Just these two. Add the boost. This, the Klon with the boost. Kingsley's on, or all the channels. Yeah, how do you keep them level when looping? You just got to be responsible. That's the only thing I could say. You got to play dynamically, like light and with intention, and just really use these responsibly. It's like opening a whole new world of dynamic range, I guess. So let's see, what do I got here in the looping pedal? Alright, so here's just the amplifier on here of the Kingsley. Let's see. So I think I added a track with this right here. Oh yeah, I did the upstrokes. It might have had this boost on. So that's just with the overdrive, or sorry, the crunch, the Kingsley on as usual. That's always on, and the boost. You see, that's plenty enough to do a like a guitar solo if I want to. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Seem like it, but that is as close as you're going to get to looping with a tube amp without an incredible amount of other technical work. 'Cause to bring an actual tube amp, all you're going to get is the sound of the power amp section, which is totally different. I mean, not totally different. It's pretty closely represented with these Kingsley pedals in their preamp sections alone. But to actually bring a tube amp and loop it in a looping pedal, you're going to have some sort of volume somewhere on a stage that you're going to have to compensate for by, having your loops be louder, come back louder than your actual performance. And that just adds a whole layer of production and complication, which if you have an entire tech team to manage it at every venue and all that, sure, but you're still going to drive them nuts with that. I guarantee you're going to need a real expert to do it. So the simplest way to get this sound in a looping environment is to get pedals like this. Now, I'm not saying Kingsleys are the only pedals that do this. There's a bunch of tube pedals. In my opinion, the guy's just the best at it. There's no doubt about it. I mean, and the thing that also makes him incredible is how good of a guitar player he is. Like, he's a recording engineer, amazing guitar player. So he voices these things exactly, to my ear and spec, just how great guitar players are going to want to hear their guitar. But they're expensive and they're kind of hard to get. But I think it's really cool. I think we should, if you care about tone, you want them. So I got these ones, and I got two other ones too. I got a Jester, and I got a Constable. So he makes a Constable in, I think, 3 models, basically different variations of Marshalls. So you can get a JCM 800 point-to-point. As I mentioned, these things are they're point-to-point inside preamp section recreations. So they're the real deal by a master, That's a work of art right there. It's amazing. So, yeah, he has a Marshall JCM 800, a JMP version, and a JTM version. With the Pages, you can get... Pages typically are his own thing. That's his own creation, which is outstanding in its own right, and it's his most popular pedal. I think the most recent person I saw using, I see all kinds of people using them, but Noel Gallagher used it on the latest Oasis tour. And what else? Pages are pretty much his own thing, but you can also get them voiced as a Fender Blackface and a Dumble, I believe. And then the Maiden, you can get voiced as a Blackface or a Dumble. And then there's all his other pedals, which are whole other things altogether. I mean, just if you like guitar pedals, especially preamps, and you're obsessed with preamps, like I am, because they're the soul of your tone, I'd recommend going and checking out his YouTube. His YouTube is amazing. If you like tone and guitars, it's just the best. Kingsley Amplifiers, check it out. So yeah, that sort of sums up that part. I'm glad you guys stuck around for it. I know those of you who watch me perform, it's not as exciting and to watch me nerd out and talk about all this stuff, but this is definitely a passion of mine, and it's just what I'm super into. And I like promoting just an amazing product, and preamps, like I was saying, are just such a vital part to a chain. And it might not sound like it makes a big difference, because you can get emulations. Like this right here. This is a Fender Mustang Micro. So this is basically amp on a circuit board, or various amps and effects all built in one. And it sounds pretty good because it has the effect emulation in it. I mean, I did bring a wire, so I could patch this in right now. I'll try it, okay? Here we go. I'm going to patch this Fender Micro in after I do a couple leads with my pedal. That's got some... When you're here and you're feeling it off your fingers, it's pretty nice. Okay, I'm trying to plug this in. All right, wish me luck, guys. I am trying to plug this thing in. All right, here we go. Now I am bypassing the guitars on my pedal board. So basically, I took all my analog pedals and I took them out of my looper. So now this thing here, the Fender Mustang Micro, where is it? Oh, yeah. I'm going to put this into my guitar. Out with my regular plug, which goes in all these pedals. It's still going to come into this looping board right here. All right, let's see what we got. Oh. Would help if I turned it on first, of course. Please tell me I got battery. All right. All right, and you can shuffle through different amp settings and effects. Turn it up so the volume matches or attempts to match mine. Remember, these are various 12 volts stacked on each other, which I think adds up to a lot, like 18 volts. It just gives you tons of headroom. These things don't have the headroom, so I'm going to try and make it up by turning it up in my looping pedal. All right, so can you guys hear the difference here? And part of why I like the Kingsleys and the natural tube preamp sections is my whole thing with it, and just like in the recording studios where you have lots of tracks, is it stacks well. So just a looping pedal is like a recording studio. You can add multiple tracks and multiple overdubs on those tracks. You get, you know, let's just say this 6-track looper, and I have 2 layers of guitar on each track. Just say that's 6 guitars. That's overkill. That doesn't really happen. But when I used to loop a lot of guitars, I don't loop as many now. I used to have up to 4 to 8 guitars sometimes. And frequencies from devices like this, like emulators, it's a digital chip. That sound might sound good on its own. It sounds kind of cool and metal, you know, but it's not warm, it's not clear, it's not real, essentially. It works, but it's not real. And this is the cheap one, you know, but these actually sound pretty good. There are professionals that use these things. Nowhere near as good as, you know, the top of the line emulators. But my point is, these sounds, the digital iterations with all the missing spaces because it's digital, it doesn't stack well. To me, it just does not stack well, meaning recording multiple layers on itself. Anyways, here we go. Services, welcome in the Riz Hotel. I'm just messing around today. This isn't my usual thing. You won't see this too often on my channel. Is Tascam 424 preamp overrated, do you think? I actually don't know anything about that preamp, to be honest. GB Bravo, thank you. Very nice of you to say that. What do I think about McGee? I don't know who McGee is. I think he's a producer. Is he a digital music producer? I've been seeing him pop up on some of my YouTube searches lately. Or does he have anything to do with Justin Bieber? How do I move all that around? It doesn't look like it's on a pedal board. Oh yeah, it is all on a pedal board. It's quite the pedal board. There's a whole video I could do on that. Hello from Brazil, Cobra. Eager Boxer, what's up, buddy? And Randy, yes, look that up on Spotify. I'll make sure I get to look at that. I'm just totally messing around on a guitar here because I don't get to practice anymore, and I got to get my fingers moving because I'm getting old, and when I go out there without actually trying to get my fingers moving, it's quite the thing for me. So anyways, I just wanted to demo, what these things sound like in comparison to what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to switch back to my pedals real quick here to the Kingsley's tube preamp pedals. I'll show you them here. So we got the Maiden here and this thing, which is basically like, this is a custom made pedal by him, but it's 2 pages. So an aggressive page and a crunchier page. So I'm going to wire my board in. Probably can't see it because I zoomed this in, but I know I'm just talking. It looks boring here, but I'm over here. I got a patch bay on this side. I can't have a camera on it. But I'm going to unwire this digital thing here and put my analog pedals back into the chain. I can't see anything because I'm cramped up, but I sort of rearranged everything for a stream like this today. All right, there we go. And then I just got to plug my wireless thing in here. And I should be back in with my Kingsley's. Oh, got to unmute. All right, and we're back with Kingsley's. Just so, what a relief after that. To my ears anyways. I'm not dogging anyone who uses digital emulation stuff, whether it's head rush, any of that stuff. It can obviously sound fantastic and way better than the example I just showed you. I just want to show what these 2 preamps can sound like, and even though it's through a stream and USB audio and all that, I'm just reiterating all the stuff I learned in studios all those years. These pedals give you that sound going into like a Neve console. It's like such a similar thing of what they do. I know it sounds crazy. I might not know what I'm talking about. That's just my impression. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Pretty fun to hear that. Yeah, I'm typically solo. I do have a band. I'm a live looping artist. And usually what I do is I go live from my gigs and perform actual songs and everything, mostly cover songs, all over Florida. So, I like a lot of my gigs are on the beach and stuff. So I'll go live from the beach and I'll sort of interact with the crowd there and the crowd online. So that's typically what I do, but I'm super into looping. I got synthesizers in my looping rig, and I beatbox and do all this guitar stuff. Today I just wanted to sort of show off my pedals and just gush about my Kingsley stuff, because man, I'm such a fan of the Kingsley stuff. I have a couple bands. I have a duo that I'm playing with tomorrow night. So I have 2 gigs tomorrow. I'll be live at Armature Works, which is downtown on the Riverwalk in Tampa, early evening. And then I got to rush over and play this crazy college bar that gets just absolutely bananas packed and crazy. Late night, 10 to 2 in the morning. Phew. But the 10 to 2 in the morning gig, I'm going to be playing with my drummer. So I do loop with a drummer. I have a group with that guy. I loop with all kinds of people. Like I hire various musicians to play with me. All sorts of different kinds of gigs and formats, everywhere from duos to 3 pieces and sometimes 4 and 5 pieces, actually. And I try and stream them, so you'll see these people guest appearing with me. But the person I have joining me tomorrow, Brian, we've made a group together called Trippin' Echoes, and we're developing original songs. And he's developed his drum kit to really be a nice complement with this. So when he drums, it's pretty special. And how good he is at playing to loops, that's super rare. Get somebody who's that good. Target Analyst Services, have you tried mixing with techno? I haven't, but that's kind of why I got the synthesizer. I really want to start adding some techno elements to what I do. So yeah, I basically want to end up being a hybrid DJ, looper, performer, like, and sample myself, and which is essentially what looping artists do, but in a whole different way, and manipulate it like a DJ does. So I'm working, my rig's end result is to be able to do what all the big DJs do with all the crazy stuff, but I've built the songs with the looping pedal and samples, and in a musical performative way, and then I could switch to DJ mode, but then I could also switch back to like live looping mode. And I want to be able to have guest musicians be able to join me too and do the whole thing with them. And I'm doing all this with a RC600 and a X18 mixer, which is quite the job to sort all this out while trying to figure out the streaming thing. So that's sort of my goal here, and that's what all these folks are kind of watching me do week after week. But the thing is, I gig so much, I never have time to sit down in the studio like this and sort of try different things and experiment. So yeah, I'm gonna try and basically set up times where I can take my looping to the next level, because I got all sorts of stuff I have to program in here that every time I'm playing a gig, I'm like, I wish I would have just set this up. I should finally do that. For literally 2 years now, there's like a dozen things I need to change in my settings. So basically, I gig a lot. It's rare you'll see me in here. Welcome, Fitty from Kenya, and Greg Lewick. All right. I think I've pretty much wrapped that up, guys. I'm going to take lunch, and I might come back later with an actual musical stream. I might actually sort of dial in a couple things like I was saying I want to do. So that's. Let's see, what do we got here? Echoes Part 2. Ooh, that sounds like literally Echoes Part 2. I must have recorded that a long time ago when I tuned to E flat a lot. Yeah, guys, I don't know if I can perform because it's hard to do it with my hands instead of my feet, and I'm not standing up or anything. I just wanted to chill out for this stream, but I guess I'm going to do songs later. Yeah. Egg Dozer, I was super glad I was able to share that with you. Super glad you got to see it and comment on it. Roberto, yeah, if you come out to Shepherd's, come say hey. I forget, where are you at again, Roberto? Any tips for bends? I think the thing with bends, it's good to have if you're bending with this finger, for example, that's bending with one finger, but I think with bends, it's good to have, I have these two fingers behind it, also bending the string. And it's one thing to bend and leave it there, but so get both your fingers behind it on and sort of bend them together. Of course, this finger leads, but to really get good at the bends, I like the David Gilmour thing where you vibrato at the top of the bend. Give it a little vibrato at the bend, make it musical at the top. Yeah, most of my bends, I have fingers behind it assisting. I actually have a hand injury, so I've not been able to play like I hear in my mind. I've had it for about 10 years now, but I can't lift this thumb up at a 90-degree angle like this thumb. There's like some kind of weird tendon thing here. I can like force it, but it really puts a lot of pressure in here. So it's kind of messed up my guitar playing. But it's made some of my vibrato kind of cool. Ow! Should probably look at getting surgery for that. I don't know. What kind of blues and jazz do I like? I definitely like progressive jazz, like John McLaughlin style jazz, but I like bebop too, but definitely progressive jazz is super interesting to me. Anything John McLaughlin has done, I'm super interested in. Blues, I wouldn't say I listen to a ton of blues, but the Three Kings, obviously, Freddie, B.B. King, and Albert King, great place to start. The old classic Robert Johnson recordings, those first recordings, that is a trip. Learn those ones. You'd think that's like super easy beginner stuff, and it is and it isn't. It's just wild how different it is. It's like using one string down here and another string up here and skipping a bunch in the middle. And then messing with other strings randomly. I actually don't know the riffs anymore, but a guitar student brought it to me once, and I picked it apart and learned it, and I was like, wow, that is really cool. So yeah, the old Robert Johnson stuff, definitely a cool place to start, and that's what began it all, how these people took this approach to guitar and blues. Johnny Coltrane, for example. Yeah, it's hard for me to say. I'm not an active listener to jazz. I don't even listen to a lot of music anymore because I'm so busy gigging, and I'm trying to put all my stuff together. But when I do, I love listening to progressive groups like the Mars Volta. It's not jazz; it's like progressive rock. Interesting stuff in the jazz realm. Definitely John McLaughlin. An interesting take on like jazz / Indian classical would be, John McLaughlin's Remember Shakti. That's an incredible thing. Yeah. I spent a lot of hours listening to that. That's what comes to mind. It's hard for me to say. I put so much stuff in my head, I can't think of stuff off the top of my head, whether it's songs to play or that I listen to. Okay, Roberto's in Ruskin. Cool. Yeah, I used to do nothing. I do have my own work and albums. At one point, I had 10 albums, and I used to do nothing but tour on them and all of that. But I stopped doing that a little while ago. I'm not going to get into personal reasons why, but one of the main reasons I stopped caring so much was just that whole Spotify movement. I stopped being able to sell my albums, and I know that's probably a crappy reason to do it, but it was really highly discouraging because I was making a pretty good income at it, and I was getting a lot of support. And once that sort of happened, everything shifted, and then there was just no money in it, which I know that's stupid and lame. And it's not all about the money. It's just, it really took the wind out of my sails, that whole online thing, and just what it's turned into. It's still pretty disgusting to me. So I'm pretty jaded about it, but I like the prospect of using YouTube. I find YouTube's a less evil version of that, and I'm trying to find a way to work with YouTube to actually just put out my stuff there. And I know that might not be smart or anything, but I'm going to look into it. I just have a hunch that that's the way I'm going to want to go. So I'll probably re-release everything officially. I have a bunch of stuff copywritten and, sent to the Library of Congress and all that. And then I'll re-release everything in a proper format once again here. As soon as I have the time, which is hopefully soon. I do want to focus on original stuff. I don't want to be doing this cover thing forever. Yeah, I have some stuff on my Bandcamp. It's not even linked on my website. If you just search my name and then type in the word Bandcamp, you can find some of my past stuff. I don't have very much on there. It's not representative of what I do now or anything, but it's there for now. All right, guys, appreciate you so much. I got to hop off. I'm going to make some lunch. Sort of strategize what I'm going to do with the rest of my day. And like I said, I got 2 gigs tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a big day for me because one of those gigs is super late with the band, so it's extra setup. But I'm going to use my mini looping rig for the first gig. So I'm going to go to my second gig, set up the big PA with the drummer and everything, and then I'm going to go to my other gig downtown Tampa and set up a mini board and all that. So I got to set up my mini board and make sure everything's good here in the garage. So who knows, my next stream might be using that. Anyways, guys, hope you're doing great. I'm going to peace out. Until the next time, I might go live later. No guarantees, but appreciate it every time you guys pop by. Really do. And thank you so much. Please subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy.